Hello everybody and welcome back. In this tip, I'm going to show you how to use buttons in your dashboards to show and hide containers, sheets, text, any object that's in a dashboard. It's going to make for a great user experience. In this example, I have different objects around the dashboard to allow the user to customize the view. For example, on the lower left, if I click on this X, it's going to hide the sales and profit by subcategory chart. If I click this bar chart icon in the middle, it's going to hide my bar charts. If I click on the X by the filters, it's going to hide my filters. And now I've allowed my user to see only the quarterly sales. To go back, I just click on each of the buttons again. For those of you that are new here, my name's Andy. I'm the founder of VizWiz.com and the Dual Access Podcast. I created this channel to help you become great at Tableau. Let's get started. To add a show hide button to any object in the dashboard, all you have to do is click on the object. For example, this bar chart on the bottom left, click on the More Options, and then choose Add Show Hide Button. Once you have that, Tableau will pop it up as an X. I can customize this. So let's say in this example, I want to edit the button, and instead of it being a button, I want it to be text. When the chart is shown, I want my button to say Hide Chart. When the item is hidden, I want the title to say Show Chart. Click on OK, and let's move that around on the dashboard to somewhere we think that it's more useful. So for example, I might put it down here on the lower left, make it a bit wider, and there we go. If I view my dashboard, I can test it by clicking on Hide Chart and then Show Chart. That example was for a single chart. I can also do it for an entire container. So for example, if I choose the container that includes these two bar charts, I can then click on the More Options for the container, choose Add Show Hide Button, and now I have an X for that section. For these charts, instead of having the X, I want to have an icon. So I'm going to click on the More Options and then Edit Button. I'm going to leave it as an image button. I'm going to click on Choose next to Image, and I'm going to choose my bars for when the item is shown. When the item is hidden, I'm going to choose Full Bars and click Open. Let's hit OK, go back into our dashboard, and now when I click on the empty bar charts, it hides them. I click on the filled bar charts, and it brings it back in. So in that example, I'm just using an image to act as a button. Let's look at one more example. This container on the right-hand side that has our filters. Let's add a show hide button for that one. I'm going to leave it as the X this time and move it over to the right-hand side. Let's look at the options for this one. I'm going to click the More Options arrow and choose Edit Button. In this case, I'm going to leave everything alone at the top, but at the bottom, I'm just going to enter a tooltip. When the item is shown, I want my tooltip to say Hide Filters. When the item is hidden, I want it to say Show Filters. Click on OK, and now when I hover over that button, we can see it says Hide Filters. If I close it, you can see now it says Show Filters. We can continue to do that for as many objects in the dashboard as we want. Now I've created controls for my user to customize how the dashboard looks. Let's put the dashboard back in presentation mode. If I click on the X next to my filters, it's going to hide my filters. If I click on the bar chart, it's going to hide my bar charts. If I click on the Hide Chart button, now all I see is my line chart. So my user might only be interested in quarterly sales, and this view helps them do that. But notice my button on the bottom left is now covering up part of the chart. I don't want any of my buttons to overlap any of my charts, so I'm going to put them in a container next to my title. I'm going to drag a horizontal container into the dashboard. I'm going to grab my dashboard title and drag it into that container. Now I'm going to drag each of my buttons into that container as well. Let's start with our Hide Chart button. I'm going to drag that, hold my Shift key down, and put it inside the container. I'm going to grab my chart icon and drag that into the container. And lastly, my X for my filters and drag that into the container. Now notice that my title has a pin. I'm going to press that pin to undo the fixed width. Now I'm going to customize each of my buttons. So on the Hide Chart, I'm going to go to Layout. I'm going to set the outer padding to maybe something like 15. On my icon, let's do the same. And then on my X for the filters, let's make that 15 as well. So now we have nice small buttons. When we hover over, we can tell what each of them is going to do. And now when I preview my dashboard, I can click on Hide Chart and it shows that chart. Click on the chart icon and it hides the two bar charts. And click on the X to hide my filters. And there you have it. You should now know how to use show hide buttons in dashboards. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and let me know. And if you've made it all the way to the end, leave me a comment with your favorite chart emoji. If you enjoyed this, please remember to click on like, subscribe, and share it with somebody that you think could find it useful. Until next time.